The Philadelphia 76ers should be a big deal. They have a former MVP, an all-NBA caliber wing, a rising superstar, and a third overall pick from the most recent draft. Yet, for the first time in years, the NBA has left them off the Christmas Day schedule. It's a quiet but unmistakable message. The league has moved on. The real question is, have the Sixers themselves finally done the same? Are they beginning to accept that the Joel Embiid era, a time of so much promise, might be finished before it ever truly began? This might sound like a wild claim for a guy who just won an MVP a couple of seasons ago. But when you look closely at the details, the truth becomes painfully clear. The biggest warning sign appeared just over a year ago when the Sixers signed Embiid to a massive contract extension. At the time, he'd already missed significant time, playing just 39 games the year before, and he barely looked healthy for Team USA. Giving him that kind of money with that much injury risk was a high-stakes gamble. The front office made an enormous bet on his durability, a bet that has since gone from hopeful to flat-out terrifying. He played just 19 games last season, and there are serious whispers from league sources that his current status is bad, and that he may not be ready for the start of training camp. The Sixers may have already realized their enormous mistake, with some executives reportedly feeling buyer's remorse for the deal that now feels less like a contract and more like a financial anchor pulling the entire franchise down.
But that wasn't the only massive misstep. What happened next would shock everyone. The Sixers went all in on another star known for his durability issues, signing Paul George to a giant multi-year deal. This was a move made to win right now, to complement Embiid and create a big three that could finally compete in the East. But just like with Embiid, the plan immediately fell apart. George had a rough season, playing just 41 games and often looking a shell of his former self when he was on the court. To make matters even worse, he recently had to undergo another surgical procedure. The Sixers now find themselves saddled with two of the most bloated, untradeable contracts in the entire league. No one is willing to take on the financial commitment and the health risk for two guys who have become a ghost story. It's a damn mess, and they have no one to blame but themselves. Yet, out of this chaos, a shocking opportunity emerged. Due to their terrible season, the Sixers were gifted the third overall pick in the draft. Suddenly, a team that had mortgaged its future for a win-now push had a golden ticket to start over. And what they did with that pick was the first real sign that something had shifted. Instead of trading it for another aging veteran to chase a fleeting dream, they held on. They drafted VJ Edgecombe, a young, high-upside wing who represents a clear pivot toward building for the long haul. It was a quiet acknowledgement that the old strategy was dead. It was the first move made with an eye toward a future that might not include Embiid or George. This new direction, however, isn't built on just one pick. The real story here is the emergence of a new core. Tyrese Maxey has proven to be a legit star, far outperforming his draft spot. His lightning-quick first step and clutch playmaking have made him the team's undeniable leader. Jared McCain had a strong, albeit short rookie season before getting hurt, but his elite shooting and high basketball IQ make him a perfect fit in the modern Dame. And now they've added VJ Edgecombe, a player with a ton of potential who brings a crazy combination of two-way athleticism and perimeter defense. The front office has actually done an amazing job of putting together a young, dynamic roster that can thrive together. They have perimeter
Scoring, shooting, and two-way athleticism. If you were to look at this group in a vacuum, you'd think the Sixers are set for the next decade. This is the foundation, a tangible blueprint for success that doesn't depend on two guys who may never be healthy again. But that's where the drama really begins. The man in charge, Daryl Morey, is in a very difficult and career-defining position. He's the one who signed off on those terrible contracts, and his job security is tied directly to the team winning. This puts him in a massive conflict of interest, a high-stakes game where he's battling himself.
On one hand, the cold, hard logic of his own analytical philosophy suggests he should tear it down and rebuild around the young guys. That's the objectively correct choice for the franchise's long-term health. It means giving up on the ghost of the Embiid era, trying to offload those untradeable contracts for whatever he can get, and fully committing to developing the new core. It would mean taking a step back in the short term, but it would set the Sixers up for a legitimate and sustainable future. On the other hand, there's the more selfish human choice. Morey knows this might be the last chance he gets to run an NBA franchise if things don't work out in Philly. He's been here before, gambling on the health of stars with the Rockets, and he knows this could be his final shot. So he can't look at this through the lens of what's best for the team in 5 years. He has to look at it through the lens of what can save his job right now. This pushes him toward a final desperate gamble, running it all back with Embiid and George, hoping against all odds for a miraculous healthy season. He'll continue to patch the holes and hope that the pieces he put together can hold up just long enough to make a playoff run. His decisions moving forward won't be objective. They'll be biased towards anything that keeps him in power, making him the central player in his own high-stakes game.
And maybe the craziest part of all of this is that it might just work. The Eastern Conference has been decimated by injuries. The narrative has completely shifted away from the Sixers, and that might be their only chance. A season where they are ignored by the media and the league, where they can fly under the radar while everyone is focused on teams that are, on paper, better. It would require a perfect storm of health, a wild roll of the dice where both Embiid and George not only come back, but stay on the court. It means they'd have to defy all the odds. The whispers of career-ending injuries, the bad luck that has cursed this franchise. It's an almost impossible scenario. A dream so unlikely it feels like a fairy tale. Both Embiid and George would have to get miraculously healthy and play like their old selves for the entire year. They're young guys, the ones who represent the true future of this franchise, would need to take another massive leap. Tyrese Maxey would have to solidify his status as a top 10 player, and VJ Edgecombe and Jared McCain would need to have the kind of rookie seasons that change a franchise's entire trajectory. They'd all have to find a way to click in the most challenging situations against teams that have already been building their chemistry for years. But that's all Sixers fans have left to hold on to. That slim, less than 1% chance of a completely healthy season and a deep playoff run. Because without a miracle, the sun has set on their championship window, and a new, more uncertain era has just begun. This story is far from over, and we'll be here to expose every twist and turn as it unfolds. If you want to stay on top of the most shocking and controversial stories in sports, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single video.